Boston Children's is known to be #1 for so many things across the world. I don't think any of us realize just yet what we've accomplished here.
Crazy just how much goes into building a building like this.
This project required people who are the best at what they do.
Staff and people that have been involved in this project, they're not on the leading edge, they're on the bleeding edge.
General Hospital, this is Medic.
It was about innovation. It was about how can we very effectively and efficiently provide care.
When you do a project like this, there's a humane purpose here, and you're doing it for the right reason.
People might look at this and say, yeah, you built a building, but we built the most complex healthcare project for the #1 children's hospital in the world.
It took a while for it to settle in just how big, how encompassing, how involved putting a project like this is together.
It's a 600,000 square foot hospital. A project like this has so many different stages and phases. Almost 600 people on site. No single person could be everywhere at once.
You start going, wow, this is big, this is big.
It's a high stress, high stakes environment. You become kind of ingrained in the crazy.
Most people don't realize that when we're building this new tower, the technology that goes behind doing that is more than just pipes and concrete. It's all the infrastructure that supports all this great machinery that's part of these ORs, these patient rooms.
The HVAC system really is the entire nervous system of how this building works.
In every single wall and every single box, there's thousands and thousands of feet of pipe that are in there.
The complexity of which we need to build things, the coordination of which we need to build things in certain orders so we could even fit it.
It's very important because we're operating on children. It has to be well maintained, it has to be installed correctly.
In terms of project complexity, like it's its own animal, it's its own beast.
So that's where our professionalism and our attention to detail has to come to make sure that that system is 100%.
We've gone to levels that this hospital hasn't gone in the past.
The IMRIS MRI.
An entire MRI machine that rides on rails attached to the ceiling and can be brought directly into the operating rooms without having to move the patient.
If anybody really understood how amazing an MRI is, how it actually functions, it would blow your mind. Then you take it a step further and say, well, now I'm going to hang it, serve 2 operating rooms instead of 1. It's incredible.
You sit in this room now, you don't see everything that's going on above the ceiling. There's some really large structural steel members up there that were probably the most complicated, challenging things to do that nobody else is ever going to see.
The Hale Building has a number of really innovative technologies that are new to Boston Children's. The automation line in our clinical laboratory, we're the first pediatric institution to have that.
We spent probably a year working with the hospital to lay this automation space out that's designed to take samples from patients, have them shot down to a pneumatic tube system, have it come down into the B2 lab area where it is put onto a conveyor belt system that automates the processing of that sample, can get immediate data on what's actually occurring to the patient.
In the architect on this project, one of the big ideas was the idea of ground to sky. So we have the concept of the seed, and as they go higher and higher, they will start to see right from leaves to flowers to birds to clouds. Bring it down in scale for children so they can relate to each of the spaces that they will be traveling through.
We take some of the doctors through, and they're awed at what we do. Just seeing them experience our mechanical spaces, that no idea what's behind the walls or in the floors you don't see, or how much services it takes to provide the room we're sitting in right now.
I think this is one of the most complex projects I've heard of. let alone been a part of.
This project really pushed everybody, from the design to the teamwork and coordination.
The days are long, but you take sort of a moment and everyone takes a second to appreciate why they're here and what they're doing on this particular project.
I don't know if I can say it. So walking in here a couple of nights at 3 in the morning, midnight, and you can hear in the distance, a child crying. And that would motivate me to make sure that we get this job done right.
The men and women on site were so compassionate and caring about Boston Children's Hospital, their patients and their families. It goes back to when we were swinging steel on the site and there was a teddy bear strapped to the crane, and that's really touching and what makes it such a special team.
So far, I have just learned that with the right people, with the right team, with the right mentality, and with the right passion for what you're doing, you can't help but say, yeah, I can do this.
I admire the people who led this project, who really brought years of knowledge and experience to it, who served as, kind of teachers to everybody, all the other staff in the project, to help them get through it and help manage it.
The impact of this building is going to be truly transformative. It's going to transform the way we deliver care. I think it is a place of hope for many of our families.
It's hard to think about. I've got 3 kids. For those families that do have to come here, just knowing what went into this project, what this building is set up for in the future, not only are you proud, but you're kind of in awe to be able to be part of something like this.
We help define what this building should be for the future of Boston Children's.